Tell me what about what about your role in FCA? What's kept you in it for 10 years? Because ministry, right? The I don't want to say life expectancy is not the right terminology, but just the how long people are on staff and ministry, FCA, all these ministries. What has kept you in it for 10 years?
Yeah, 100%. The easy answer is calling. 100% certainty that this is what the Lord called me to do. The challenge has been what within FCA. Like I've looked at other opportunities within FCA to do some different things. And do I want to be a little more sports specific? Do I want to do the fitness thing? I was the talent advancement director for our region for a couple of years. I've struggled with that a little bit because in the Marine Corps, every 3 years you get, if you're doing it right, you get promoted, you get moved to a new duty station. You're always a Marine, but different jobs, different
Yeah.
responsibilities, different people, different geography. And that has been maybe one of the hardest things about my transition out of the Marine Corps is not doing that anymore and just trying to be in one place, doing one thing for more than a few years. Even within the 3 years, things change so much, whether it's a deployment or it's you're not doing the exact same thing every day, all day. So, um, yeah, what's kept me in it is calling 100%. And man, you thank you for ordering a copy of the book that I've just written that tells all the intimate details, a little bit longer of the story and this journey, but it has not been easy. Like without question, some things have come after me to thwart my faithfulness to stay in what God called me to. No doubt.
Yeah.
And I think there's a combination of being a little stubborn, a little conditioned by the Marine Corps experiences that quitting is just not an option. Going back to that pool moment, and but then also just being 100% sold out that the Lord called me to do this. And one of the things I talk about in my book is the idea of a dog soldier. There's a young kid that is so special to me in this ministry. I was discipling him and ministering to him since he was in elementary school, and he was asked to do a book report on the dog soldier, and this is a Native American thing. So the in Indian tribes, one particular one, there would be an elite set of soldiers in the Indian tribe known as dog soldiers, and what they would do in battle is they had the sash that hung off of their garment, and they would take a spear, and during battle they would impale that spear into the sash, like stick themselves to that ground, and it's like this is my position, this is what I'm going to hold to the death if necessary.
Mhm.
So that he when he was asked, "Who do you think is a dog soldier?" He said, "Mom, it's Mr. Ken."
Oh,
And I'll tell you, man, there's I could probably that's easily you could put that on one hand, the number of things that someone has said to me that were affirming and encouraging and empowering, and that's one of them. So for me, like the whole hashtag has been for 10 years to be a dog soldier, to be
oh,
firmly planted and calling. This is where the Lord put me, and until He makes it clear there's time to go someplace else, this is where I'm going to impale the sash.
come on, man. That's so good, dude. So your book, you just kind of
Yeah.
hinted at it. That's in the book. That
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Give us the elevator pitch for your book. Obviously, we'll tag it on here and all that fun stuff. But give us, why'd you write it? Kind of what's the 30-second review of it in a sense of what it's about, and how do people get it?
Yeah, it is about calling.
Mhm.
That is the gist of it. So I teach a little bit about calling up front because I think you understand too, having been called to ministry as a talent advancement guy, as a hiring manager, you're asked a lot to assess the candidate. Are they really called? Like that's the number one thing we're looking at. And you can't just ask somebody, "Are you called?" and they say yes, and you're like, "All right, check. Let's move on to the next question." It's deeper than that, and I don't think any of us really truly know man, am I called or does this just feel good, sound good? So I teach a little bit up front about what calling really is, and then it threads itself throughout all the stories so people can see all the things that came against my calling, some of the way things worked out where it was hard at first, but then you see God's faithfulness show up and do something really cool. Like I tell some really fun stories there. So that's what the book generally is about, is just telling my story of 10 years. The gist of it is like 10 years for the next 10. Like here's what's happened, and my hope is that the Lord is, doing some of this to shape me for the next decade. But also, my hope is that it would empower those who read it to be more faithful to their own calling, to understand their own calling better, but then to just maybe have a greater perspective of certainly it can be hard. So there's some teaching in here and devotionals around difficulty, hard time, trials, all that sort of stuff, so that you can really see what the lesson is in those things. And so Yeah, I'm hopeful that it would just be just that. It would be a resource to inspire other people in their calling. So you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram at Ken Lovell 75, and I've got posts that are out there with the
Yeah,
link to this thing. And
yeah,
so for anybody that would want it, it's not a money maker for me. It literally is just to try to get it printed and shipped to where you are,
yeah.
and in hopes that it would inspire your calling. Yeah.
I love it, man. I'm excited to get my own copy to start reading it. And also, I want to, that was really cool what you just said. When I heard you talking, all I could think about was you're helping people find their purpose, right? Another word for calling. And I think right now, as a culture, we're lacking purpose. That's why we see so many lanes happening of all of this, in our own country, right? So I appreciate your heart to want to help people find their calling, because we need more men like that investing in younger men and just our next generation. So, all right, let's transition to what's coming up, right? So I know you're big in the fitness world. Can you kind of talk about the fitness world and how it overlaps with FCA, and then what's happening tomorrow? I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to get this up, but just talk about it all.
Yeah, so up front, every athlete, coach and athlete, right? We all know in sports that there's an element of fitness present in every sport. But the thing about fitness is that it's also its own sport. You
Mm,
know, there is the sport of fitness. There are people that just go out and do the physical thing as a sport in and of itself. So 2020, I think it was, or 20, well, no, I take that back. I mean, it goes back to really my last year or two in the Marine Corps. I really started getting into this idea of CrossFit. That was my specific element of fitness that I just really loved, because this is what the Marine Corps is always about. It's every climb and place. You know, it's about being ready when the nation's least ready. It's all these sort of principles that's what I love about CrossFit. The specialization is not specializing. You know, I look at some of the stuff you've got behind you, like if it's riding a bike or if it's swimming or if it's lifting weights or it's running. I love that. And then as I came on staff with FCA, my heart was to continue to do that stuff, not only just to compete so I could be an athlete myself, but it was about being an athlete to reach athletes.
wow.
So in the Marine Corps, it was always we kind of the statement would be like, take your blouse off and spend some time with the Marine, meaning take your blouse off, get into your t-shirt, change a tire with that kid, fix a radio with that kid, dig a fighting hole with that kid, like whatever that young Marine is doing in their job, like as a senior enlisted guy, get down in there and spend time with them. So I carried that into FCA to take my blouse off, if you will. I'll do power cleans with the football team. I'll run with the cross country team, win sprints with the basketball team. Whatever they're doing, I want to get in there and do it with them,
Yeah,
because there's just some kind of element about the connection you can have when you suffer together first.
so good.
So that's my heart behind fitness and why it's so important. I mean, there's obviously all kinds of health and life expectancy benefits of, being fit
Yeah.
and conditioned for whatever life throws at you. But for me, I want to be an athlete to reach athletes, whatever it is. But then also, as you and I talked a little bit about before we started recording here, is doing hard things
Yeah.
has benefits that nothing else can provide.
Mhm.
Suffering produces endurance. So endurance by definition is the power to endure the difficult. Our ability to endure hard things is only built by doing hard things. You know, every athlete knows this. You don't run your 40 faster or back squat better by doing nothing. You get under those weights and you do those things when you have the choice, so that you're more prepared for the times when you don't. So that being said, there was a few years ago I got really inspired about the idea of maybe leading FCA into the official fitness space. I'm an online coach with CrossFit Mayhem and Mayhem Athlete. So I've been doing CrossFit for a long time and understand that stuff. And it didn't take back then a few years ago, but about 6 months to a year after that, it did take for Crystal, who's your teammate.
Yeah.
She's crushed it. She's doing everything that I saw was an opportunity
Yeah.
for our ministry. So together with her and then Ryan Glower, who started out of Charlotte, we just had this heart to build this global fitness challenge where we can all come together and suffer together. Around Good Friday was always the heart around it. But as I looked at it, I was like, well, let's build the tension. If it's a 24-hour workout, let's build the tension and walk with Jesus from the Last Supper over the 24 hours it takes him to the cross. Let's break that out into 24 workouts, 24 devotionals that teach an element of that story, so that we can really understand what he did or what he said or what he didn't do or say, and all the prophecies that were fulfilled in these moments that sometimes people just skim over. And so when it comes to my story, to circle back around in full circle here, I was a creaster. I only went to church on Easter and Christmas, and that's true of so many people. So if you go to church on Easter, you hear about the risen Lord, You hear about the tomb being empty, but we don't talk a whole lot about how the tomb got filled first.
Wow.
And that's what this story is all about, is walking with Jesus through that journey to Good Friday. So the way it's built is that he gave his last breath at 3 p.m. on Good Friday. So if you're doing it right in track, which you guys are in Washington, that's how I'm going to do it as well.
Yeah.
You'll be able to finish that workout. And as you're fellowshipping and talking, there's a moment to stop in prayer and recognize that right now is the moment in history when Jesus gave his last breath for us. And man, I just, as I said it, I got goosebumps. Like your teammate Crystal had said it. It's not about intensity; it's about experience.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm not going out to hit all-time PRs and weights or times and things like that. I'm literally just wanting to survive it physically.
Yeah.
And as you said so well earlier, like just in some really small way, staying up, suffering, being uncomfortable, and being tempted to quit, and being hungry, tired, all those things are just minute, examples of what Jesus was going through.
Yeah.
And obviously, he suffered and was tortured way beyond what we're going to be. But there's nothing like, and I know this from my Marine Corps time. There is nothing like allowing your body to be physically compromised to grow in your ability to do things. And I'm excited about just what it's going to do for me. Yeah, physically a little bit, but definitely spiritually, what it's going to do to my faith.
Yeah, I'm excited to reach back out to you afterward and talk about how I feel dead because of it.
Yeah.
But it's going to
We're
be,
going to need to talk throughout it though,
yeah,
just,
absolutely.
just to encourage each other, no doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%. I'm down for that because it's going to push me, and I'm super pumped to be doing it. I'll be doing it in a different time zone, but we'll be doing it together. So 24 workouts, 24 hours. It's going to be awesome. So hey, talk about this. You've talked a lot. I mean, you are just full of energy, and I love it. And where does this come from? Like, who's your hero? Who did you learn this from? Like the guy behind me, that's not me on a bike. That's my dad. He's my hero. He's ridden 180,000 miles in his lifetime. Turns 80 this year. He started riding when he was 46. So that's my guy. Like, who's your inspiration? What gets this energy in you, and how do you keep moving the way you are?
Yeah, my dad is my guy as well, but not for that reason. When it comes to energy and enthusiasm and things like that, my dad's my guy because to me, he's just always been the epitome of just hard work, providing for your family. He was never abusive or any of those sort of things. He led me to the Lord. I mean, so that's my dad. He's my best man in my wedding, literally, but figuratively too, just in my life. He's my example. So, but throughout my Marine Corps time, you're always looking at that guy who's right above you in rank or position, and you're like, I want to be like that guy. So the ones who inspired me the most were those kind of guys. They were high energy,
Yeah,
super enthusiastic, inspirational, loud, just in good and bad ways, but they got your attention, and it just that was the example set for me. And I'm like, I want to be like that. And so part of the journey for me in transitioning from Marine to minister that I talk a little bit in the book too is just like how to turn some of that stuff off that can actually be a little bit too much for some people in the civilian sector.
yeah,
Luckily, in sports, most athletes are used to the coach being a little bit loud and pumped up, and so I like to bring that kind of energy.
yeah,
I like to be to all, like Paul says, all things to all people in order to reach some.
yeah.
I also in my heart, I got a couple of very specific mentors that created this in me because one of their values was enthusiasm and
Mm,
intensity. I mean, that they lived by that and taught that as a mentor to me that was significant. But also, I would just tell you that in my heart, if what's important to us seems like a burden to us, then we'll never expect other people to do it. So when it comes to just life and faith or being a man or husband, just any of those things, like if I walk around, it's kind of like Jesus teaches with fasting, it's like if I walk around doom and gloom, then it's not going to inspire anybody else to want to be a part of what I do. So, doing hard things, I'm going to boast in my affliction,
yeah,
that's stuff like that. And listen, I'm not perfect at this. Don't get me wrong. Like it's easy to do this when we're recording.
for
It's not,
sure.
not always easy, but it's always the desire is to
Yeah,
give people my best. And that's why I'm probably a really good extroverted introvert. Like I'm going to give you so much that I'm going to need a little introverted refuel time when it's over.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I can relate to that. That was the perfectly well. So I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna recycle that.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Last question, man. Then we'll wrap up. Okay. I love to ask this question. Obviously you've told an incredible story. You still have a lot of story left, right? So, God willing. So, what's one piece of advice that you would share with a young kid out there who's entering the military for the first time, or someone that's just trying to step into the arena of fitness for the first time? Like, what would you share with them to encourage them, to help them just take that step of growth?
Yeah, there's a few different things. I'll recycle something a mentor of mine taught me once. He said, "Strong mind, strong body."
Mm,
The principle is just the idea is that our bodies will always try to tell us that that's enough.
mm,
And if your mind is strong and you're committed to your purpose and your created identity, when you understand what's right, you won't believe the lies your body's trying to tell you. And so if your mind is telling your body go, then your body doesn't get a choice. And it's probably as simply as I can put it, because in this sort of, like, Burger King did this when I was a young kid, and it's still true today, where they say you are king, or have it your way right away, right? I mean, we are conditioned through our devices to get what we want, when we want, how we want, for how long we want. And that's dangerous, because the world is not like that. It's going to give us things we don't want longer than we want them, all those sort of things. So again, going back to doing hard things, like, just don't look for to be rescued from the hard things. Look to be developed by them.
mm.
That's the best. Again, just kind of another way to say what I already said. Just don't shy away from the hard stuff, because the more time you spend with it, the more prepared you'll be to deal with those things as they come up.
Man, that's so good. I'm gonna hold on to those 4 words for those 24 hours, man. Strong mind, strong body. That's gonna be my mantra. I've been trying to think of something to write down just to keep me grounded, and I'm gonna use that. And so
Awesome.
I appreciate that, man. Hey, I just want to say thank you first off for hopping on. Thank you for just taking my DM on Instagram, right? And for writing the book. I love that you wrote the book. I think everybody has a book in them. Thank you for your heart to serve our country for 21 years. I want to do a separate combo with you just on that, because I guarantee there's so many incredible lessons we can learn from you in your tenure doing that. And then 10 years in FCA, man, like, that's nothing to say lightly. That's an accomplishment. And so thank you for paving the way. I hope that I can celebrate 10 years as well someday. And man, I just want to say thank you for using what you're passionate about to help tell people about Jesus and to show up for people. Like, one of my
Yeah.
favorite things you said today was the story of when you show up to a practice, you're going to run with them, you're going to live with them, you're going to just be with them, right? And suffer with them is kind of what you talked about. So thanks for leading by example. I think that's something that we need more of. So cheering you on, man. I can't wait to connect with you tomorrow in the 24-hour grind we're about to take on. But thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, Troy, thanks so much for setting this up. I look forward to talking to you again. And well, yeah, if nothing else, I'll be 3 hours ahead of you starting tomorrow. So we'll
That's
chat it
right.
up, and strong mind, strong body, buddy.
Strong mind, strong body. Let's go.